Hello, Mystery Recapped here. Today I'm diving into a shocking sci-fi thriller called Apoc. Warning, major spoilers ahead. The movie begins in a secluded Bhutanese village where tragedy has just struck. A heartbroken couple mourns their little boy who has died too soon. The devastated mother, unable to bear the sight of her child's lifeless body, staggers outside into the night. Her grief overwhelms her. She collapses to the ground, crying out in agony. Suddenly, the sky erupts with a violent thunderstorm, and the earth itself splits apart. From the chasm rises a colossal stone-like structure, floating eerily above the surface. But the shock doesn't end there. The dead boy suddenly opens his eyes, runs out of the hut, and embraces his mother as if nothing ever happened. Moments later, the structure emits a massive energy wave that lights up the night sky with terrifying brilliance. News spreads fast. A global broadcast reports mysterious blackouts hitting several countries. Scientists suspect the cause is a massive electromagnetic surge originating from the bizarre floating rock in Bhutan's mountains. The U.S. government quickly realizes the danger and the opportunity. Without informing China, they secretly prepare a mission to investigate. At the National Security Agency headquarters, panic and urgency dominate the room. Generals, senators, and intelligence chiefs gather to decide what must be done. The conclusion? A joint scientific and military operation will be launched to study the strange formation. Dr. K.C. Chabin, a brilliant scientist with a reputation for groundbreaking research, is chosen to lead. Alongside her, the team enlists Dr. Mason Rand, a genius engineer with expertise in electrical and structural systems. But Mason, far from Bhutan, has no idea his life is about to change forever. Near the Mexican border, he visits his physician and receives devastating news. He is diagnosed with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, with only 11 months left to live. His world collapses in an instant. Heartbroken and lost, Mason prepares to head home, but fate interrupts. On the road, he clashes with locals in a tense confrontation. The fight escalates. One man strikes Mason with the butt of a pistol. Just when things seem hopeless, the roar of helicopter blades fills the air. A U.S. military chopper descends, scattering the frightened men. Soldiers grab Mason and haul him aboard. Still dazed, he's told only vague details about a top-secret mission. Inside, he meets Dr. Casey herself, who urges him to be patient. The truth will soon reveal itself. Hours later, as the aircraft enters Bhutanese skies, the mystery unfolds. The team gazes in shock at the enormous rock structure levitating impossibly in midair. Landing near the site, they are informed that Bhutan's government has reluctantly granted the U.S. military exclusive access. Captain Tower, the strict security chief, provides Mason with piles of classified data and photographs of the formation. That night, under dim flashlight, Mason studies the files with obsessive focus. One particular image shows 9 circular indentations carved into the rock's side. His heart races. The pattern resembles the 9 planets of our solar system. Could this be a code, a lock, or perhaps a key? At dawn, Mason is awakened by Dr. Solomon Holt, the mission's medical officer. Together, they hurry to the camp's infirmary, where the woman from the opening scene has arrived with her resurrected son. Holt explains that the boy had died from diphtheria and dehydration, yet now he is alive and healthy. The mother swears the rock brought her child back. Mason stares in disbelief, sensing strange energy radiating from the boy's body. Shaken, Mason reports back to Dr. KC. She updates him on their latest findings, while also revealing the locals have named the formation Taurus. Mason then shares his solar system theory, insisting the 9 indentations are the entrance. Skeptical yet intrigued, Casey authorizes him to test his theory. Soon, the team approaches Taurus in a massive mobile laboratory truck bristling with high-tech instruments. Mason positions 9 metallic probes into the indentations, each aligned with planetary coordinates. With tense anticipation, he rotates the holes counterclockwise. Suddenly, the structure reacts. A section of the stone retracts, revealing an enormous circular entrance like a doorway into the unknown. The team is stunned. Mason has cracked the code. But danger looms. The Chinese military detects the covert American presence and dispatches 2 MiG fighter jets toward Bhutan. In the NSA control room, alarms blare. The scientists must hurry. Yet Captain Tower refuses to let them enter first. Security comes before science. Mason and Tower clash bitterly, but the captain leads his men inside while the scientists monitor via cameras. Outside, tension explodes. The Chinese jets arrive, circling menacingly. Suddenly, one fires directly at Taurus. The artifact reacts instantly, unleashing a monstrous tentacle of electromagnetic energy that lashes through the sky. With terrifying force, it destroys both fighter jets in a blaze of fire and lightning. Inside Taurus, Tower's squad faces their own nightmare. A glowing white cloud of energy drifts toward them. Panicked, Tower orders his men to fire, but the strange phenomena retaliates. The soldiers collapse, overwhelmed by surges of power, and one man is taken by the cloud. The destruction of the Chinese jets sends shockwaves back to Washington. Officials fear this could spark open war. The Chinese will believe the U.S. attacked them, unaware that the artifact itself was responsible. Under pressure, the NSA demands the scientists gather information immediately, before disaster escalates. Back at the camp, Tower and his shaken men retreat, reporting the horrific loss of one soldier. Mason explodes in anger, blaming Tower for recklessness. Their confrontation grows heated, but is interrupted by orders from the NSA. Seizing his chance, Mason denounces Tower's decisions and argues passionately that he and KC must enter Taurus themselves. To his relief, the NSA agrees. For the first time, the scientists are cleared to step inside the mysterious, otherworldly structure, without the military's interference. Inside the Taurus, Mason and Dr. Casey push forward, their flashlights cutting through dark and narrow corridors with almost no visibility. The silence is eerie, every step echoing like a warning. Outside, reinforcements arrive as NSA agent Alan Lysander shows up with a fresh wave of U.S. troops. But his eyes quickly catch something alarming: Chinese fighter planes patrolling nearby skies. Tension is thick, the situation is spiraling out of control, and time is slipping away fast. Suddenly, back inside the Taurus, Casey notices a glowing disturbance rushing toward them. It's the same cloud of raw energy seen before, sweeping over them in a blinding surge of light. In an astonishing twist, the soldier who had been taken earlier is suddenly released, alive. The cloud retreats, leaving Mason and KC stunned but unharmed, and they rush back to camp in disbelief. Meanwhile, chaos brews in politics. The U.S. president demands urgent answers from the NSA. A diplomatic envoy is sent to China, hoping to soothe growing hostility. But the Chinese government lays down an iron demand: complete transparency and equal access to whatever secrets are hidden inside the Taurus. The U.S. ambassador promises to report this back, but China's envoy cuts him off sharply, warning this is not a request. If America doesn't comply, China will destroy the Taurus by force. The meeting ends in a chilling deadlock, leaving both nations on the brink of disaster. Back at the camp, something extraordinary unfolds. Mason, once given a death sentence by ALS, asks Dr. Solomon for a full medical examination. The results are shocking. The disease is gone. Not a trace remains in his body. Overcome with emotion, Mason bursts into tears. He's been given his life back. Ecstatic, he jumps up and kisses Dr. KC with passion and desperation. Their intimate moment is cut short when Agent Lysander barges in, glaring and questioning what's happening. Breathless, Mason blurts out that he's just been cured of a terminal disease, but his words sound almost unbelievable. The scientists regroup and analyze the phenomenon, their bold theory. The Taurus's electromagnetic pulses have the power to regenerate life itself, possibly even the origin of life on Earth. But not everyone is convinced. Military leaders grow uneasy, insisting the safest path is destruction. They argue the artifact is too dangerous, too unpredictable, and could wipe out humanity. Mason, however, refuses to accept this, declaring that the Taurus could rewrite humanity's understanding of existence. His voice shakes with conviction, but war drums beat louder outside as Chinese troops surround the U.S. camp. Soon, Chinese soldiers march straight into the American base, and the air crackles with the threat of bloodshed. Arguments flare, and the atmosphere grows explosive. Then, Catastrophe strikes. A nervous U.S. soldier fires at the Chinese sergeant mid-negotiation. The shot drops the officer and chaos is seconds away from igniting. But in a surreal moment, the Taurus pulses again. Energy bursts outward, enveloping the wounded man. To everyone's shock, the sergeant heals instantly, rising to his feet as if untouched. His men recoil in awe, whispering that this is a supernatural sign. Shaken to their core, the Chinese retreat, leaving the U.S. camp bewildered and on edge. But the mysteries don't stop. Mason and Casey dare to re-enter the Taurus, returning to the spot where the energy cloud appeared before. Suddenly, the luminous entity engulfs them once more, only this time it hurls them into another plane of existence. They awaken inside a blindingly white room where the entity materializes into a strange, cloud-like form. Without words, it communicates through visions, revealing Earth's hidden history. The scientists watch in stunned silence as images unfold before them. The Taurus was no passive rock, but an alien force that has guided humanity since the dawn of time. It shows how it once wiped the Earth clean, erasing all organisms, only to restart life from scratch. Humanity itself, they realize, was nurtured and shaped under its silent influence. The vision ends abruptly, and Mason and Casey are spit back into the very same spot they had been standing moments earlier. Rattled but enlightened, they hurry back to base, desperate to share the revelations. Yet outside, Earth itself begins to unravel. Massive clouds spread across the globe, blocking sunlight and threatening mass extinction. Scientists calculate in horror humanity has just 2 months left before collapse. The U.S. president, out of options, gives a chilling order. A nuclear bomb will be planted inside the Taurus. Colonel Tell carries out the mission, placing the weapon deep within the structure and commanding everyone to evacuate. Panic spreads, but not everyone obeys. Captain Tower and Agent Lysander refuse to leave, their loyalty to the artifact overpowering fear. They demand Tell defuse the bomb, but he shakes his head. It's already too late. The countdown has begun. In a desperate act of defiance, Mason and Casey also stay behind. Racing into the heart of the Taurus, they fight to disarm the bomb. Mason throws every ounce of his engineering skill into the task, but nothing works. With only minutes left, the grim truth sinks in. They cannot stop it. Accepting their fate, they cling to each other, sharing a final, desperate kiss as the clock races toward zero. The bomb detonates in a fiery blast scene for miles. But the impossible happens. Instead of destruction, the Taurus swallows the explosion whole, absorbing every ounce of nuclear energy without a scratch. Its shimmering shell splits apart, revealing a radiant sphere of pure energy. Slowly, majestically, it rises into the sky, leaving Earth behind in silence. It's as if the Taurus has passed judgment and chosen to spare humanity. The film closes 4 months later with life restored. Mason, fully cured of ALS, now embraces a future he thought impossible. Even more miraculous, Dr. Casey, once unable to conceive, is pregnant with their child. A love born in crisis now blooms with hope, their lives forever changed by the Taurus.